Dear NFL, I understand LA and Chicago are the second and third biggest media markets in the country, respectively. But with all due respect, and I mean all due respect, stop putting these two teams against each other in prime time every year, assholes! The previous 3 iterations didn't show you that you were probably bound for another freaking stinker tonight? Where people are going to be talking more about all types of other shit other than how good the actual game was? Because the game sucked because it involved the Bears in prime time! You take a look at the schedule every year. Do you seek out opportunities to look like idiots? To look like clowns? Saying, hey, noontime Nagy traditionally sucks in prime time. Let's go ahead and put noontime Nagy's team on Sunday Night Football to start off the year. Stop this. Sign myself and the rest of America. The ultimate nightmare scenario for the Chicago Bears tonight. And this shit isn't cute. It's not justifiable or defensible from Matt Nagy. It just isn't. If you had any doubts heading into this season, I don't know why you would, if you had any thoughts otherwise that Matt Nagy was anything other than a guy that's in over his head, whose play calling is numbskull-like, tonight was a perfect example of what the hell I've been rattling about the past couple of years. Fire this asshole and fire him now and send him, Ryan Pace, and Bean Counting Ted the hell out of town. Look at the start of the game. You get the big kickoff return by Khalil Herbert, a 6th-round rookie. Nice contribution right out of the gate. Then you get a huge run from David Montgomery, who in general had a really good night and could have been so much better if you had a competent play caller that actually consistently went to the running game instead of wanting to sit there and do cutesy-wootsy dink and dunk 5-yard passes all fucking night. So the opening drive on the road against a team that is viewed to be a potential Super Bowl contender, you even bring in Fields for a gadget play because you're fucking dumb, but nonetheless you're there, 3rd and short, deep in Rams territory. You get a penalty, then you have to burn a timeout because, of course, that's what Matt Nagy would do. He's in mid-season form right here. Piss poor clock management from the jump. And then, of course, the Andy Dalton INT, where he's throwing it God knows where, doesn't see the defender who's literally standing like 10 yards right in front of him. How the fuck you didn't see him? Then you come around the next drive, Andy Dalton almost gets picked again. Oh, let's not forget the majesty of the genius of you're using 3rd down to set up 4th down. Now the 38 dunk pass out to the damn flat, which set up yet another failed 4th down conversion, a theme of the night. The multiple failed 4th down conversions, and that gem later on in the game. I realize you're down double digits, and maybe you're afraid that you've got to go for it. You went for it all these other times, and the field goal's not going to do you much. But damn it all! It's 4th and 15! If you were actually going to go for it on 4th and 15, then throw the ball past the sticks. Design your routes to go past the 1st down marker. You couldn't even do that right. This was classic numbskull noontime Nagy of the highest order. You've got your 3rd string left tackle coming in after Jason Peters first sucks it up and then goes out with an injury. Then 5th-round pick Larry Borum comes in, plays a little bit, and then he gets his leg rolled up on. You're going to Elijah Wilkerson. You're on your 3rd left tackle of the game. And the next play, you immediately run a play behind him. All the while, you're taking this dipshit, quasi-ass Dick Duran, Cade McNown, we're going to give him a little bit of tick here and there approach to Justin Fields. Why in the bluest of blue fucks would you sit there and take a failed approach from 1999 and try to incorporate it here in 2021? And if you're going to say, well, it's what you did in Kansas City. Listen, the situations aren't comparable, as I've talked about numerous times. Alex Smith is actually a decent starting quarterback at that time. Decent. Andy Dalton has been mid his entire career. I know I used to like to heat on Alex Smith at times and mock him at times, but give me Alex Smith over Andy Dalton all fucking day. And lo and behold, at the end of the day, Alex Smith played the whole year. Yeah, that's great. But then they gagged it up in the playoffs against the Titans. You remember that? Imagine if they had played Mahomes all year. They might have made it to the Super Bowl that year. They might have not wasted a year of a generational type talent like Patrick Mahomes on a rookie contract on the bench because they wanted to do dumb dick shit the old school way. It's fucking dumb. There's literally nothing that you watch a Bears game and you see an Andy Dalton do that a Justin Fields can't himself do, let alone the many things that Justin Fields can do better. Andy Dalton does not give you the best chance to win games, period. Any football person that says that should be immediately discredited forever. Any fan that comes on in the comments of this video or on social media or anywhere else in the existence of the universe that says this hot, steaming, stinking pile of monster of the midway, mediocre, the McCaskey way fucking garbage deserves to be discredited forever. 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 There is no possible justification, excuse, or reason. Well, what about the offensive line? What are you going to do if the offensive line sucks all year? You're not going to play Fields at all? What happens if they still suck next year? Well, with Ryan Pace as the general manager, it's certainly a fucking possibility. You're not going to play him for 3 years so you can hide him until the offensive line gets good? Or here, ding dong dumb dicks, how about you play the quarterback? That means that you don't have to worry quite as much about the offensive line because he can make athletic plays happen. He can extend plays with his feet. He can actually, oh God, I don't know, throw more than 10 yards past the fucking sticks. You got all that fucking wide receiver speed in the wide receiver room for what? 5-yard slants and curls? Oh, Andy Dalton was fine tonight. If by fine you mean barely mid and averaging just over 6 yards an attempt, a good majority of his throws, even the slants and curls, guys had to stop and redirect because they were off target. If that's what you say is fine, that is an illustration of the freaking problem with the Chicago Bears fan base, the team, and the organization now for decades. So accustomed to and so comfortable with mediocrity that they accept drizzling shit. And then on top of all of this, you're down 20 points with 3 minutes to go in the game. And Andy Dalton's still in? What the fuck for? What the hell for? It's over at that point. The perfect time to put in the young kid and see what he can do. Even the Green Bay Packers did that today when they were getting rocked by the frickin' Saints, and they've got a freaking first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So hold on, help me understand this. The Packers are getting their shit rocked by the Saints. They benched Aaron Rodgers in most of the fourth quarter to play Jordan Love. They're a former first-round pick, the guy that they're looking to potentially be the heir apparent. But the Chicago Bears wanted to keep trotting out there the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton and his gingivitis, down 20 with 3 minutes to go. The hell's wrong with you? And let's not even talk about the Sean Desai disaster. Did you bother covering tackling at all in training camp, in off-season, in minicamp at any point in time? Here's Eddie Jackson tackling. You're saying, well, wait, Jeff, you're not doing anything. Exactly! No excuses. There is no excuse for that shit, but it doesn't matter. Dude got paid. It's horrendous. And anybody bother to ask themselves this? How the fuck were you the safeties coach able to skip a level to become defensive coordinator, and yet your safeties are the biggest problem on your damn defense? How does that make any damn sense? The dude can't even coach up the safeties, but you want him to coach up the entire fucking defensive unit? Gee, I wonder what could go wrong there. Your front seven's old, filled with a bunch of some overpaid guys, not all of them, but some really overpaid guys, and your secondary is lacking depth and talent. How could you not figure out how to cover the Rams all damn night? How did you manage to manufacture one sack and very little pressure consistently on Matthew Stafford and the Rams all night? How the hell does this expensive-ass defense that you've invested so much in terms of cap space, draft pick capital, free agency, etc., give up 34 points in prime time? How could anybody have sat there and thought that this defense was going to be elite this year? Overreaction season, my ass. This is who the fuck I thought they were. This defense has been trending bad in the wrong direction the past couple of years. And if you think Chuck Pagano was solely and exclusively the only problem, I got news flash for you. 34 points given up tonight. And probably could have and should have been worse. You want to know why Sean Desai got the defensive coordinator gig for the Bears? Because nobody else wanted this lame duck gig. So they promoted somebody, let him skip a level, so certainly they could pay him less, because that's right up Bean Counting Ted and Goofy George's alley. Am I wrong? And then you expect the defense to be any better, any different? But the nightmare scenario of all of this was, the Rams weren't that impressive tonight. David Montgomery was a beast tonight. He fucked them up. They let Andy Dalton dink and dunk all over him. Like, you couldn't figure out how to defend? This asshole's not throwing over 5 yards. Figure it out! And what if the Rams didn't get those two massive, huge coverage breakdowns from the Bears secondary? The first one, Van Jefferson's open. I love how Eddie Jackson and the other dude who's just like, that's so nice. I didn't want to ruin this beautiful looking play. Let's just let him score the touchdowns. That's how you play the sporty ball, right? That's exactly how it is. And then the second one, like, nobody's within 15 yards of freaking Cooper Kupp. What a joke and what an embarrassment. But what I'm pointing to is the fact that the Rams weren't that impressive, which would give me a little bit of pause and concern when thinking about whether this Rams team is really potentially Super Bowl worthy. Stafford obviously brings a different element to this offense, and you saw that tonight, but that defense without Brandon Staley running the show, not quite so good. But the problem is the Bears defense sucked really bad, so you know that you can't depend that much on the defense this year. Nor can you solely and exclusively blame the offense for the bad loss tonight. I mean, you lost 34-14. It was a 20-point fucking loss. Can't just blame the offense here. And the offense did its part in the respects of they took a shit ton of time off the clock. So it wasn't like the Bears defense was worn down. They just sucked. But you had Andy Dalton do just enough to be mediocre enough to where now Matt Nagy's going to use that as a dumb dick justification and excuse to continue being stubborn and being a fucking moron. And a news flash for all of you that are going to sit there and say, well, once they start Justin Fields, it'll be so much different, so much better. Remember, this is the same guy that, he'll be able to work with Trubisky and get so much out of him. That didn't happen. They're bringing Nick Foles. He's familiar with the system. He'll play like he did in Philly in that playoff run a few years ago. Until that didn't happen. Now you're looking at Andy Dalton. Well, Andy Dalton's familiar with the system of Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy, and they'll be able to do good things with him. And then that didn't happen. At what point in time do you really question, like, as much as you might love the talents and physical upside of Justin Fields, and don't get me wrong, I do too. I have my concerns about him coming out of Ohio State, but the physical talent and upside is clearly there. What makes you think that Matt Nagy is the right man to get that upside out of him and unleash it on the league? What makes you think that he's going to be a positive asset in the corner of Justin Fields' development? What makes you think that numbskull Nagy's going to do anything other than undercut and fuck up yet another young quarterback? What makes you think that this is going to go well? So I caution you. We all want Justin Fields to play because he's the guy we're looking to see if he could be the future. In the meantime, he also is the best quarterback on the team. So no matter what your defense mechanism, Justin Fields should be the starter. But Matt Nagy, being the right guy to coach him, you know better. This asshole should be fired and fired immediately. I got to see what Andy Dalton looks like. You've seen him for a decade. How much more do you need to see him, asshole? We saw him plenty tonight. That's enough. 14 points in 4 quarters. And he couldn't throw over 5 yards consistently. And don't just sit there and think it should only be fire Matt Nagy. It's fire the idiotic, dumbass general manager that cut guys like Kyle Fuller, kept to Jimmy Graham so that way you'd only have one catch tonight, so that way you could sign in fucking Andy Dalton. Then it's the fucking Bean Counting Ted that sat there and allowed this shit to go on under his watch. You can't fire the McCaskies. The Crypt Keeper Virginia won't die and she won't do the right thing, which is fucking clean house what needs to damn happen. So therefore, as a result, Matt Nagy and the rest of these clowns need to go. Yes, it's 1 game out of 17 in a season. How much more do you need to see? It's the same shit of the past few years. Get with the program. Fire Matt Nagy, fire Ryan Pace, fire Ted Phillips, fuck all of them. This is stupid. What a waste of time tonight. I'm sorry, America, that this abortion was put out there for you to be forced to consume for 3 hours on Sunday night. What a crappy way to end your weekend.